All right, folks, we are live. We are live right here. Conversations with TopDonn. Happy New Year. Welcome to the new year. I think usually by the 4th or 5th or 6th of the year, we're supposed to stop saying Happy New Year, but Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I want to welcome you all to our first edition for this year, 2022. This is DJ TopDonn, obviously, the host of the show. Today, I am very glad to be joined by my brothers from Cameroon. Top right there is my boy DJ Eric from Washington, D.C. Eric, how are you, bro? Introduce yourself. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you, DJ TopDonn, and thank you for always having this regard towards me. And I thank you. I've known you as a friend for so many years, and I appreciate the fact that you always want to bring up an impartial platform for people to explain to express themselves.
Well, we'll see about that today, right? We'll see how impartial it is. Also with us on the show today on the panelist is my brother, my partner, just happens to be from Cameroon as well. You all know him. He'll introduce himself as well.
I'm actually partially Kenyan, so
I
I think
you
Cameroon.
don't even know how to say hi in Swahili. All you know how to say is nakupenda. That's all.
No, I know. I also know Jambo.
And he eats a lot of nyamachoma.
Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate the opportunity. My brother TopDonn, Aurelian, Paul, Valerie or PV for those. Obviously, I'm an architect here in Chicago, but I'm also a promoter and producer, and work hand in hand with my boy, your host, DJ TopDonn. It's my brother, and we're partners in crime in a lot of the ventures that we have here in the city. So I'm glad to have been invited to this wonderful platform.
All right, awesome, guys. Thanks for the great intro. We're gonna get right into it. It's only 2 or 3 days to go before the Africa Cup of Nations, affectionately called AFCON, begins. AFCON 2021. Even though we're in 2022, it is still technically AFCON 2021. So Cameroon had been, for those that do not know, Cameroon had been scheduled to host this tournament in 2019. For one reason or the other, they were unable to host the tournament in 2019.
2014.
It's a 2014.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
2014, correct.
Yeah.
Right. So this is 7 years in the making for them hosting the tournament. There's been a lot of things being talked about, especially in the Western media, in regards to whether Cameroon is actually ready to host this tournament. So we wanted to ask our brothers, actually from the country and who are closer to the situation, to just give us a brief rundown of what they think. So we have a lot of topics to touch on, but I'll just let them touch on it to begin with. So Eric, I know you've been very passionate about whether the tournament should go on or not, and it just so happens that one of your good friends, I'll put him on here on the screen, Mr. Samuel Eto'o,
Yes.
has been recently elected as president of FECAFOOT, which is the Cameroonian Football Federation. What are your views on how things have gone? Are we ready? Are the stadiums ready to go? Should we be doing it? What are your initial views here?
Okay. Let me say, going in already, Samuel Eto'o is a good friend, and I will absolve him of a lot of stuff, because he got in towards the last minutes of this thing. You see, Cameroon, there's a major issue with Cameroon. That country is so corrupt that some of us, without even know, I get so embarrassed to even call myself that I'm from that country. To tell you the truth, that country, man, Yo, where do I even start?
In relation to these
They
to
gave this
this.
they gave this cup they gave this hosting rights to Cameroon in 2014, right? They knew back in 2014 that they were going to host it. Do you know the amount of corruption that happened since 2014 up to today? I don't even want to start with the corruption of the stadiums, because that one it's it's phantasmagorical, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's true that you asked what happened. Don can jump in here and simply say that the head of states of Cameroon said, using his words, I quote, there was a slip, and that is very typical of what has been happening in Cameroon. Is Cameroon ready? Frankly, simply put, no. They
Nope.
are not. Right now, I think that the show must go on. Like sometimes you go on with the show, even though things are not where they need to be.
Right now, the Gabonese team couldn't even get access to a hotel.
That is correct. I don't know if you guys have seen, and the reason, and I was gonna elaborate a bit when I say that no, they're not ready. And I know we have infrastructure and every other things that we're going to discuss later in the show, but nothing, Don, and my fellow brothers and sisters, nothing is really ready. We're going to carry on because yes, we did have some stadiums that have been built along the way, but as you know, that these stadiums were not finished. At least the main one where we will have the opening ceremony is not technically finished. They scrambled in December to kind of get it to a point where it could be accepted. And even that date that they had promised to get things ready slipped one more time. And then you guys are going to hear me using a lot of that word of slipping, because that is really how it's been defined when, they were unable to deliver the things at the date that they were promised.
The Olympic Stadium. It was supposed to be a sport complex.
Correct.
It could barely finish the stadium.
So I actually, it's a good segue to one of the slides that we have, because that was the biggest concern is, that was the marquee, infrastructure project was going to be the Olympic complex, right?
Correct.
They actually have the Olympic Stadium here. So I'm going to put it up. So the Olympic Stadium is the one on the top left. Now, this picture is from 3 days ago, right?
Yeah.
The one on the top right, that's inside of the stadium. That is supposedly taken from 2 days ago as well. So as much as all of the press you would see outside would be like the stadium was not going to be complete, because even a month ago, I kept seeing reports saying that the roads leading to the stadium were not done. There was no parking spaces, which was true because I did research that and find documentation that was the case. However, as of yesterday and today, pictures I saw today, that looks like it's actually going to be ready. So, I mean,
yes,
go ahead.
TopDonn. It is going to be ready, right? But it was supposed to be a sport complex, not a stadium.
Yes.
It was supposed to be. It was supposed to have several with a 4-star hotel in there. Nothing happened.
Correct. So to your point though, when you say that it's ready, let me just put it this way: if you are building a house and you know that you have the opening day and you know that guests are coming on Sunday, if Friday you realize that you did not finish everything that you needed to do. And you start sprucing off the living room and the dining room and making sure that some of those things are painted, that the front door is correct and to receive people. The kitchen looks fine. But then all the other stuff that you had said, first off, you had said that you were going to have a nice finished basement, that you were going to have beautiful bedrooms with balconies overlooking whatever.
Yes.
But you get your guests to be able to come to your front door and get into the living room and have dinner. And then they leave. Would you say that the house was complete if, in fact, your basement did not get the right amount of paint that it was supposed to get because nobody really used it the way they were supposed to?
And the truth is this: they are not going to complete any of this stuff when the competition is finished. They are not going to do it.
Well, none of the stadiums typically. I mean, you know what happened generally. There's some images of what happened in Gabon. If you look at some of the stadiums in Gabon, and if you look at any big tournament, any big competition, generally that is the Olympic Games or any place like in China and everywhere else, you see what happened to all the complex later on. They fall in disrepairs, and nobody really cares about them.
Look at what
However,
happened what happened during the World Cup in Brazil.
Exactly. However, one thing that I want to point out,
they have sport complexes that are in the Amazon, completely abandoned.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, they
But
have.
one thing I
I've
wanna
seen one
do-
in Greece where the stadium there were goats grazing on one of the Olympic stadiums from the 20.
Exactly.
I'm sure you've seen that. I'm sure you've seen
But,
that one. Yeah.
but,
So Paul, go
but
ahead.
here's the thing. But let's not forget though that yes, the complex and everything else may end up being grazed by goats and whatever. However, what it did though, it brings up entire development in a region. That is why when we have these big tournaments, the plus of having these things is exactly that. The fact that the population benefit from this type of event.
Economic activity. Yeah.
But here's the thing, Don. You said that the streets, the roads were ready. I'm going to tell you, yes, around the stadium, maybe within one. Wait,
What roads though?
wait.
What roads?
I did see. I was just in Cameroon in December. I did see around the stadium, maybe within a couple of miles of the stadium, Don. Yes, the roads. However, take note that there's no other real development that happened to lead people to the stadium, which means that right now there's traffic, tremendous amount of traffic that brings people from the city to about a mile and a half away from the stadium before they can take advantage of these new infrastructure. And this is what I was going to say, is that all these development, when we have these type of activities and events, it's so that
the Douala
the
Yaoundé
people
highway
can benefit.
is incomplete.
I was going to get to that. It was
Yep.
supposed to bring economic development into the entire region. We had so much money to, like Eric mentioned earlier, to take advantage of it and put in new roads, new hotels, accommodations, trains, airports. We can go down and then we can tell you that yes, they've revamped some airports in the region, in some regions, yes. However, if I'm a fan and I arrive in Cameroon and I want to follow my team, I have chances of getting into crazy accident in really terrible roads if I want to do that. There's no way I can go to Bafoussam to watch a game and then go to Yaoundé and Douala and Limbe. I can't just do that because roads are extremely not safe.
The Zimbabwe team just arrived in Bana, and what I saw was an eyesore.
Can you elaborate? Right.
The bus that was being that was driving the Zimbabwe team, right? The Cameroon government said that they had bought 200 new buses. That thing is not a new bus.
That's typical.
That thing, I don't even know how they even got into that bus. Yeah.
And they showed I think it's the Gambia bus that stalled in the middle of the street. I think you guys have seen that.
It got stalled in Yaoundé. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I saw that
So-
one. I think Eric, you sent that one where the Gambia bus was stalled somewhere. I don't know where, but
Correct.
somewhere.
Because Don, typical fashion, I bet you that there was money to buy buses.
They
and
steal
we never
money,
did.
right? They steal money and then they paint a couple of buses to look like they are new buses. Meanwhile, they are completely.
Yeah.
God help me.
You know,
So-
go ahead, Paul.
No, I was just going to say that continuing on the infrastructure, there is what they call the highway that's been scheduled between the airport and the city center of Yaoundé. It's about 10 kilometers, right? I think it's more, but it's about 10. But the point is, it took them 8 years to work on this.
And they have not
And guess
not
what?
completed it.
It's not complete. They opened it and said that it's ready, but only a section of it is actually ready.
Exactly.
So one of the comments that has come in says that, I mean, this is typical, unfortunately, whether we like it or not, this is typical of a lot of African countries. So what's different?
Well, I disagree. Corruption.
The amount of corruption in Cameroon has
That's right.
never ever been seen anywhere in the world. I guarantee
Because
you.
this is what I want to
let's-
explain.
Yep.
The truth is, yes, corruption is nothing that's native to Cameroon.
Yes. No.
But the problem is this: in other places there's corruption, but at least you see accomplishment.
Yes.
They might say, we're going to build, let's take Senegal or Kenya or any place where you see that there is corruption. However, things are progressing. You see infrastructure, you see actual things. Like maybe, yes, sure, we're not going to get a 6-lane, we might get 5 each, but at least it's going to get done.
At least.
Cameroon is the only place that I know, having traveled around the world, where they promise things and they never deliver, not even an ounce of it.
Not at
And
all.
nobody is accountable for it.
That is why me, in particular, right? I keep saying this, and I will keep saying it till the day I die. Do you see what they call Ambazonia? The reason that those guys from the English-speaking part of Cameroon, where I come from, decided to actually just get out of there is because that country is so corrupt. It's not even funny. I don't think they are going to be. I don't think they are going to do a good job, anyways. But at least let them try something out.
So you mentioned Ambazonia, and I'm going to put up a couple of headlines that you see in the Western press, just so we can kind of see what they talk about. So this is a good segue, Eric, into what you were talking about. So this headline here was, just from today, actually, a very well-known writer in the British Independent put up this thing saying Cameroon's civil war should dominate the AFCON talk, not who your Premier League team is missing. And that just goes to your point, though, is because it seems that locally, or some of the stuff, like when I heard FECAFOOT president, Samuel Eto'o, talking about what was happening, I've been looking at official statements coming from either the CAF president, who is Motsepe from South Africa, when he came to Cameroon late last month.
Yes.
And anything that I've seen from FECAFOOT does not mention any challenges that are going to be faced with the ongoing crisis, which to me, I mean, this is a whole topic for another time, but it really bothers me that this does not get talked about. A lot. It's only been highlighted now. So what are you guys' feelings on that? I mean, like what,
they prefer not to talk about it.
Who's they? When we say they.
All of them. Motsepe, Samuel Eto'o. Samuel is a good friend of mine, right? And I keep saying my segue before getting onto this, is that I absolve him from all of it because he just got into this mess.
Okay, well.
Okay, Paul, go ahead.
Yes.
I was going to say that, yes, listen, this is not the place and time where we can go into, like you said, the reasons why there is a war in Cameroon. There is, unfortunately. And one of the image that I saw from the press yesterday was the fact that in some of these places where the tournament is going to be taking place,
Limbe.
the streets are militarized. There's soldiers with guns patrolling, and I'm going to say that I don't recall. Maybe there was probably one time where there was a African Cup of Nations in a country where they had armed military men and women walking up and down the streets. So, again, coming back to the reason why, without being completely ready, things are moving forward of many folds. The first that I'm going to think about is all this, to me, comes down to politics, because there's a promise that was made, and we have to save face and let the tournament happen. Because frankly, this tournament should not have happened with everything else that's happening. Women and children are currently refugees in Nigeria. There are women and children in the bushes right now who are freeing from war, from burned hospitals, and there's a certain amount of normalcy that we want to be projected.
My father died because of this Anglophone problem. So I take it too personally. You understand? I cannot get it out of my mind. I cannot.
Mm-hmm.
The stadium I think you're talking about, Paul, is Limbe Stadium, I believe.
Limbe.
Yes.
Limbe, right. Okay.
Yes,
So I also saw a couple of those images today, and out of all the pictures, because I tried to look when I was researching this topic, I tried to be as impartial as I probably could be, because I don't have a bone to pick either way. But I will tell you that when I saw the pictures out from Limbe Stadium, I was like, I'm not so sure about this for now. So I'm also just in that wait and see mode as we move forward. So wait and see see kind of what's going to happen. So yeah, that's go ahead, Eric. I think you had another point to make.
What I can say is I wouldn't wish any ill on any of our guests from neighboring countries who are just coming to take part in a sporting event. I wouldn't wish any ill on them. I welcome them to Cameroon, but I tell them, look out.
Yeah. I just think that some measures should have been taken place. I think that we should have used this opportunity as a way of bringing Cameroonians together, because this is
true.
Supposed to be a party. True. This is a soccer party. And I'm thinking that if you invite people for a party, you got to make sure that people in your house are in a party's mood and spirit.
That the house is clean.
And to me, I just think that there were a few steps that should have been taken to make sure that this event was celebrated and appreciated and enjoyed by all. And and I just think that the government failed us. And coming back to Samuel Eto'o, yes, he is just now the president of FECAFOOT. He fought really hard to bring or to at least make sure that we don't go to another country for the 2021 tournament like we did in 19. So he did all of that. However, I'm going to say, just to note from what we're talking about, he's still a little controversial in Cameroon because there are people who believe that he is in cahoots with the government
Yes.
to get people to put
we are
people
right
to
about
sleep,
that. Yes.
to put people to sleep. Because Cameroonians, as you guys know,
His
are
bedmate
fan of
with
soccer.
Serbia.
Yes, they are fan of soccer. So no matter what political troubles or what kind of issues Cameroons have ever had, every time we had the World Cup or anything else, people were happy in watching the games and did not have to complain. I'm just coming here by saying that as we speak, there are political prisoners in Cameroon that have been arrested because they marched without any guns. They did a peaceful protest.
Yes.
And they all got arrested. And recently, some of them received up to 8 years in jail. Women. And this is mainly.
Alain Foguet, Bibu Nisak, man, my
There's a-
MRC people.
These are people.
Should that, Paul,
who-
should that situation have prevented the tournament from taking place?
I
Because
believe
what I've
so.
not seen, I mean, like, I'll tell you just experience and looking at some other countries where such a situation is going on, whether it is people in the street there locally, what the kind of pressure that would have been put on the Cameroonian government to make a change would have been put by people in the diaspora here to make whether it is sanctions and stuff. And personally, when we've had discussions before, I've expressed to you my frustration saying, I don't see Cameroonians anywhere here stateside doing things. Maybe they do, but I don't know. So maybe you tell me.
Sure.
Stop going.
Well,
Let me tell you what Paul Biya is very, very good at. Paul Biya sponsored a lobbying firm here in Washington, D.C. that actually killed the whole thing. Like they presented a beautiful picture of Cameroon, which is completely a farce. Now you get the explanation. So and then once they presented that picture, the AFCON people took it and ran away with it.
sure. And Don, to coming back to your question, there is a diaspora who's very active. There is actually a political party in Cameroon that has a gentleman who won the elections, quote unquote, 4 years back. His name is Maurice Kamto. So his party are very active on social media, in the streets, in Paris. He was in Washington, D.C. a few years back.
Man,
and was
I was
received as the
there.
head of
I was there.
I think I remember
So-
that one. That was one of the few that I saw. I remember because there was a
Exactly.
Facebook Live of it.
I was there.
So let me tell you something, however, when you're asking me why. The reason why you don't see more activities is because Cameroonians know that they are exposed to very, very, very to sanctions if they ever speak openly against some of the things that you just mentioned. So those pressure cannot happen openly because people, Cameroonians, the more and more I see, like you said, we can see them more. But Cameroonian being the one of the only countries in Africa who fought bloodily for their independence, meaning that unlike a lot of our neighboring countries, Cameroon before 1960 had a rebellion. People woke up and took arms against the French government and whatever else was happening at the time. But since then, the system has been one a very repressive, which has taken away the ability for people to speak freely and openly about
Yes,
what's happening.
and there's something about what I see in contemporary Cameroonians right now. Some of them want to define patriotism as you being in agreement with whatever they are doing down there. Yo,
Mhm.
I am not part of it.
I mean, okay. And with that said, I want to talk about some of the positive things, right? I want to talk about the fact that receiving the African Cup of Nation in Cameroon, a nation of soccer, we all understand that Cameroon is one of the top three, four, five countries in Africa when it comes to
Sam,
soccer. Five
Roger
times
Miller,
African Cup Nation champs, have
yes.
produced players that names resonate with everyone. Samuel Eto'o, Roger Mila, Tomankono. You
Thomas
go down the
Kono,
list. So
Patrick Mboma.
Patrick
Yes,
Mboma. So the truth of the matter is, the last time we organized the African Cup of Nations was 1972. Okay, so that's how long it's been. So yes, we should be celebrating. We should be applauding. And let's say that yes, things have happened. Would they could we have wanted more? Yes, I would have liked to see in Cameroon using this opportunity to develop new transportation systems, get rails, get highways,
yes.
make sure
No,
that
not not
all
not
the
not
airports, some
not
were
not,
done,
not colored buses.
some were done, but I hope that this is going to give the thirst to, to kind of, okay, we can do these things, and then that this might be, I hope, the start of a new future for Cameroon, where we can, come together, work together, and actually get things done and accomplished. But we need to reconcile. We need to 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 understand the challenges, bring back, you know, the brains, the people from the diaspora, like you mentioned, Don, who are willing, who want to contribute, and make sure. And that's why I'm happy that Samuel Eto'o is president,
Yes,
because I think he's going to bring a new vision, a new
yeah. New
breath
blood, new blood.
um,
Yes,
into the soccer in Cameroon. Because what you don't know is, one thing that you guys don't know is that while Cameroon were winning, if you guys open the door to what was happening back doors, you guys would be ashamed of everything else, of the fact that these kids were playing, not
Samuel
getting any
told
money
me,
or any.
yeah, Samuel told me that there were a lot of jesters. When I met Samuel in New Jersey, no, in Philly, he told me that there were a couple of jesters in Feka Food who um who, when they come in, they bring in a couple of their family members, and they fill up that Feka Food with stuff that he will never ever understand. Hopefully he can solve that.
Yeah.
Yes, I really hope, I desperately hope that he can solve that. If he
Be-
can start from there, right? Maybe, right? Because to tell the truth, I don't think Samuel Eto'o becoming president of FECAFOOT, I don't think his reason was just becoming president of FECAFOOT. I think he wants to become the president of the African Football Federation, and then eventually becoming a president of
FIFA.
FIFA. I wish him the best, but let him first of all work on that country.
Yeah.
There's
And-
there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done. So, in case you're joining us, this is Conversations with TopDonn, where you're joined by my buddies from Cameroon, DJ Eric and Aurelian PV. We are streaming live both here on Facebook and on YouTube. If you've not subscribed on YouTube, hit that subscribe button right now. Go and press on it real quick. So we're going to keep it moving. Just a couple of comments here. Good friend Gilbert Otieno from San Francisco says, in my opinion, I think Africa thinks every African country thinks that their country's corruption is the worst. He says Kenya was so bad that we lost hosting of the 1996 AFCON to South Africa. It's a very fair comment. Right?
He has no idea about Cameroon.
to each his own. That's to each his own.
That's right.
Also a comment here from Awisi Malaika from Zambia. He says, out here waiting for Zambia to replace Zimbabwe, and he covers his eyes. So a part of the news that we had today was that a Zimbabwe national team was having a couple of issues, either traveling or they have a COVID situation. Not sure what the deal is with that, but that's a good.
The Zimbabwe team. The Zimbabwe team refused to accept the hotel that was assigned for them in Yaoundé.
Wow.
They arrived there. They arrived there, and no. The Zimbabwe. No. Sorry. Yeah, the Zimbabwe team. No. That was the Gabonese team. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Gabon, right?
Team.
Actually, Gabon has just suffered. Gabon's captain, well-known player, plays for Arsenal, is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, just tested positive for COVID. So I don't think it's coming down. And that brings me to the next situation here, which, unfortunately, we're still stuck with this COVID situation going on. It's gotten really bad with this variant. This is not news to anybody, but I just want to put up a couple of headlines.
I actually survived COVID myself, and I thank God for that. But then it's because I took my vaccines and all of that. But I don't know what is happening in that country.
All right, yeah. So I just put up, a couple of the things that have been floating around today. So talking about fans in the African Cup of Nations, stadiums must be vaccinated against COVID. So we were talking about the stats of the vaccination rates that we have in Cameroon right now. So I think Paul mentioned here, Aurelian mentioned that it's at 1.1%. The actual rate that I saw here was 2%. So 2%, 1.1%. It's still extremely low, right?
I know.
Extremely low. So it's almost laughable at this point.
It went up a tick. So
it went up 0.9%.
But listen. Listen, isn't that a shame? I mean, and to tack to this, yesterday, I was also watching the fact that if people who are going to go in the stadium need to be vaccinated, right? And then they tried to open up the pre-sales, tickets, pre-sales. It was supposed to be open 2 days ago. Guess what? As of yesterday, as of today, this morning, when I'm reading, it was not open.
It was not open.
It was not open. So not online. You can't purchase tickets online because the system is not ready. And those who showed up 2 days ago to purchase tickets couldn't. They were told to come back yesterday morning and gave them numbers to come. Oh yeah, if you come back early in the morning, you will be the first in line. They came in the morning, still not ready. So Cameroon, as of now, are not ready to sell tickets, which you would think that under these COVID situation, the online sales would have been open weeks ago so that people can purchase their tickets and not have to, go sit in line with other folks to try to buy tickets. That's the situation right now, Don.
I mean, the question here is then, let's take a look at the stadiums here. Olembe Stadium is a 60,000 seater stadium. The stadium in Douala on the bottom right is 50,000 seater. So if you're looking at vaccination rates at 1.1, 2%, whatever number that they have, who are they opening up the pre-sale to when people are not vaccinated? This is the point I wasn't getting.
They're not going to fill up those stadiums. I mean, you just said it yourself there. There's no, and the reason why I was bringing up the pre-sales tickets was exactly to that. I'm glad you brought up that point. It's like we have 60,000 seats and all the other seats. What they did when they did the AFCON, I think it was the AFCON before, they had to bus people and get them in stadiums for free to give the appearance of having people in the stadium. And that was pre-COVID. That was a semblance. That was kind of in the beginning of the COVID, or was it pre-COVID? Yeah, it was kind of beginning last year, right? Last January. So to me, I don't think that the goal is to fill up the stadiums, Tom, because the Cameroonians. Well, I guess the other answer would be to say that people don't believe in vaccines. They don't believe that COVID is real anyway. So if they wanted to go to the stadium, they would go. Let's just put it that way. I don't think that COVID would be a concern for the average Cameroonian, because I don't think that using the vaccination rate, you can understand that there was not a serious campaign in making sure that people are vaccinated.
But this could be a calamity if
Surely.
if they let people in who are unvaccinated and everything. This could be a serious calamity in Cameroon.
But it could be, but I also looked at the I forgot the name of the COVID world map, where you can look at cases and by country.
It's not much.
It's not much. They don't report testing, and there is no testing. So even if it could be a calamity, yes, we would never know, because they don't really test or vaccinate in Cameroon, or if they do, it's very.
My friend Eric failed to realize that Cameroon has a protocol that, quote unquote, cures COVID. So people are very comfortable because those have been the things that have been in the news, Don, which makes people not wanting to go get vaccinated because, quote unquote, they can cure it. And it's been like this from the beginning of the pandemic. So that's why people are not vaccinated. That's why people are not concerned. And that's why I'm saying that, in fact, the stadiums are not going to be filled up, not because of COVID, because obviously, but it's simply because the infrastructure to getting people in and out. Because, listen, I've been to many World Cups.
Where are the roads?
To go to a stadium, you need the means to getting easily before and after the game. I'm saying there are no buses, there are no trains. People are going to take motorcycle or taxi cabs to get to the stadium. But that's no way to move a massive amount of population to events. Everywhere else that you've seen tournament, I think, you've seen that there is a system of transportation that's very clear to help people get in and out of the stadiums. And that's what I was arguing earlier, is that we don't, at least as far as I'm concerned, we don't have that in Cameroon. But that doesn't mean that people don't go to the games. People are going to go. But
well, it's just 2 days to go. So they just announced another thing that I saw floating around was there really wasn't any clarity on the opening ceremony in terms of who was going to be performing at the opening ceremony and things of that nature. I just read today that they booked Fally Ipupa to be at the opening ceremony, and it raised some eyebrows, because in relation to some of the things we've been talking about on the show here, saying why don't you have one of our own headline the show? But that's a whole other show. That's a whole other show. So we're coming up to the top of the hour here. We've got about maybe 10 to 15 minutes left.
Fally is going to perform on the 7th. Yeah.
On the 7th or on the 9th? I saw it say the 9th. So which would be the opening ceremony, right? Which would be on Sunday.
The 9th, yeah. He's going to perform somewhere in Cameroon on the 7th before he performs on the 9th.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
okay.
Fally is pretty much a Cameroonian, pretty much.
Well, there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money for him in
Yeah,
Cameroon. Say
a
it
lot
that
of
way.
money, a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
Which by the way, again, brings back to the fact that it's not like we don't have any resources. We have plenty of resources. It's just how we use them that is questionable.
All right. Yeah, we're going to keep it moving here. Just want to read one comment here from my friend Lawrence Asaba from Uganda. He says, Uganda takes the trophy for corruption officials. Our team of 16 players travels with 36 officials. So
nice.
There you go.
Well, I'm gonna top him one. Everybody knows Roger Mila and knows how well he did in 1990 in Italy. Here's the thing. Do you guys know that in Cameroon, when we are quote unquote coach, the person who is the manager of the team, who actually is supposed to be doing the selections of the players to play the games, is not really the person who does it? He has to submit his list to the Minister of Sports and the President of the Cameroon Republic. So the president is the one who has the last say of who plays and who don't. So that's why I'm kind of glad that Eto is now there and he's starting to clean up the house to make sure that we get into a place where
Valerie,
qualified players are the ones who are going to play.
Remember that Fabia was the one who suggested Roger Mila to be part of the of the 1990 team.
That's correct. That's what I just said. Yeah, that's exactly it. And that was a good deed. Let's say that was a stroke of brilliance because it turned out really well. Because Mila did fantastic at the 1990. But it was just to illustrate that he was just talking about how the team are 36. I was going to say that
what was his actual age? You're saying 36. Was he 36?
Officially, he was, but rumors.
Or I'm digging too far. He says you say he was 36 years old. Really?
He was 39 officially. He was 39.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then there was this guy called Augustin Concho Comini, who was suggesting that they should put man. That country is a piece of work. That's the bottom line.
And the players almost did not play against Argentina because they were waiting to get paid. So what the players had understood was that they should always get paid before the game, not after. Because after the game, if any money was allocated to them, they would never see it.
They would never ever see
it. But anyway, we digress. I think that the point was simply to say
there was this thing called Operation Coup de Coeur. I contributed 200 francs of my hard-earned money while I was in school in Garwa, Garwa, just to support the Cameroon team get to this World Cup in the USA in 1994. Guess what? They got here and it was a disaster.
So, well, hopefully they are ready this time. Things are changing, and we wish them the best. I know. I think that my pick definitely is that Cameroon hopefully will retain, at least win at home. But I like I said, Don, I hope that despite the 1.1% or 2% vaccination, because there's a cure, because people believe that they can cure COVID, that they're going to show up in stadiums in masses. We'll find out opening day.
So opening day is in 2 days, and Cameroon is going to play against what country again?
Isn't it Equatorial Guinea? Maybe the first game, maybe.
No,
I believe so. I can pull up the fixtures. That was going to be our next segment, actually, in terms of who's playing where for the next games.
Yeah, the
coming
first
up.
game,
Yeah, I was going to
the
lead.
first game is gonna be Cameroon against
It's Cameroon against Burkina Faso. That is going to be on
Burkina
Sunday.
Faso.
That's the first game. Yeah, that's the first game of the tournament. And that leads us into our final segment, actually, very, very nicely in terms of picking a team. So I've got the Cameroonian national team for this year. That's the squad right there. I looked at the odds today of, based on the rankings and the actual probability of, teams teams from different countries winning. So, unfortunately for both of you guys, Cameroon were the fifth most probable team to win.
Yeah, well,
I'm not surprised.
I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what happened. So
Well, I like
Cameroon were
the
the fifth
underdog
most probable
position.
team to win. So the team that a lot of pundits think have a good chance to win is Nigeria, and number 2 is Senegal, 3 was Ivory Coast, 4 was Algeria, and then 5 was Cameroon. So
Okay.
what are you
Well,
guys' thoughts? I know Paul, you just gave yours.
I can elaborate on mine a little bit, and then I'll pass it on to Eric. I think that I like the position of an underdog. Um, Being the favorite is never a good thing anyway, because um, they often don't win a favorite. So, which would consolidate me in my position of saying that I still pick Cameroon winning at home because we lost in 1972 during the semifinals, or was it during the finals? I think, and that was a heartbreaking thing. And in Cameroon, people still talk about it today. The fact that we organized a tournament and we couldn't win. So it would be very disappointing not to do that. Nigeria, because I can go back and talk a little bit about some of the other teams that are favorite against us. If we talk about Senegal, those are the Lions of the Teranga, can never pull any weights against the real Lions of the jungle, which is the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. So that just put them on the side for sure, because they're not going to win against us. Nigeria, sure, we've always had a big rivalry with Nigeria. And Ivory Coast, forget about Ivory Coast, because we just beat them the other day. All they had to do was beat us to go to the World Cup. They couldn't do it. So I don't think that this time they're going to have a chance if they come if they meet us. So against Nigeria is probably going to be tough, and our nemesis is Egypt, generally. So those would be the two teams that I would be concerned about, but I still think that being at home, sleeping in our own bed, having our own juju right back door from us, because Don, you may not know this. We actually have a lot of juju, and sleep in cemetery the night before the games and everything else. So having
I
that
don't
back
know.
door, I'm just telling you that's what Samuel Eto'o could tell you. That's what they do. That's why we have our own uh, uh, guy of whatever his spiritual advisor or whatever his name is, who travels with the team. He has an official title. But anyway, all joking aside, I think all chances are.
So you say Cameroon. What about you, Eric? What do you think?
During the World Cup the World Cup in South Africa, right? Someone told me that uh, um they shipped a lot of juju traditional practitioners down to South Africa. Guess what? When they beat Cameroon the first 2 games, and they discovered that Cameroon could not even qualify for the next round, those guys were the first to be shipped back to Cameroon.
So what's your pick, Eric? Who do you think is going to win?
So before we go there, Irene's Yoka, thanks for watching. She says no juju, please. No juju.
Look, I'm rooting for Egypt this time around.
Ooh, are you serious?
Wow.
Mo Salah,
Wow.
that guy is a beast. No.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But you're home.
Yeah. I'm home, but then
Okay,
the damn home doesn't give me reasons to to support them.
agreed. I respect that, and that's a
It's
good
gonna
pick,
be
by the way.
it's gonna be a tough tournament. I'll tell you that. My pick, my pick
I will be
is
commenting. I will be commenting every damn day.
we'll come and revisit. So Paul picked Cameroon.
I had been blocked from Facebook, but then I'm going to be authorized in 4 days. I will keep commenting.
So we'll revisit. So Paul has picked Cameroon. That's a pretty obvious guess. Eric has picked Egypt. My pick to win it all is going to be Algeria. Algeria will repeat their victory from 2 years ago. I think Algeria with Riyad Mahrez and a couple of other guys are playing the Premier League. Algeria, again, they're just sitting there. Nobody really talks about them. They'll win again. So trust me, I'm
And
correct.
I know. But by the way, did you hear that when they arrive in Cameroon at the hotel they are staying in, they fired. Well, they fired. They brought their own cooks. They brought their own everything because they did not. In the hotel, they banned or at least they did not want anyone
They do
local
not trust
to be
nobody.
close to their food.
Yep, that
So,
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
so yes,
All right, guys. We're almost at the hour time limit here.
Cameroonian cooks can cook some shit and give them.
We're almost at the hour time limit. Time goes so fast. Can't believe it's been an hour already. So
Thank you, thank you.
we're going to close down the show, but I'll give you all each a chance for some parting words before we disperse.
Thank you, TopDonn. I wish to thank you for this platform that you permitted us to express ourselves and to tell you the truth. We might drag each other's feet, but we really wish each other the best. Hopefully, the best wins in this competition. And hey, hopefully there's peace in Africa. Thank you, brother.
All right, we will revisit. Paul, last words.
well, quickly. First off, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for inviting us. What I wanted to say is that Cameroon is a beautiful place, you guys. Despite what may have come across, we have challenges like every other country, like we mentioned. But we call Cameroon Africa in miniature because there's so many wonderful things up in the north. You have the desert and the Sahara. You come down, you have the forest, you have the coast with the ocean. The food is amazing. Cultures, a variety of people, languages, colorful. It's a beautiful place. It's a place that we all love, and that's probably why we are so passionate about it, eager to see it jump into the 22nd century in style. And I think that, we will get there. It will take us a little bit of time, and things are changing. But for this tournament, I think that it's going to be a great celebration, and I hope that it's going to be in peace, and that we'll win this, and hopefully Kenya would someday get to win the African Cup of Nations.
Why you gotta go there? Your closing argument was so great. Now I'm gonna ban you from the show. You'll never be on this platform ever again. Brutal. That is. That's like somebody inviting you to their house, then you throw the plate of food they gave them in your face. Come on, man.
I'm just encouraging. I said hopefully. I'm hopeful.
Oh, hey, there's a lot of Kenyans in the stream here. They're gonna come after you, man.
Oh no, I was just saying. I was just being supportive by saying that hopefully,
No.
Hey,
we got your point.
Nairobi to watch. Yes, that's all I'm saying.
We got your point. Okay, a couple of people missed my pick. I picked Algeria. So Asaba, you can't bet me. So it's okay. Gilbert says you got jokes. He's a Kenyan. You got jokes. He picked Senegal with Sadio Mane, our Liverpool brother, as the winner. So we'll see. We'll revisit. Actually, Gilbert, we need to have you on the show as well. On the next AFCON show, we have to bring my brother Gilbert on the show as well. Folks, we are right at the hour mark. I've done a really good job of keeping us honest today. We've only went 1 hour, which is good. So folks, don't forget, we are here live on Thursdays. This is Conversations with TopDonn. Again, I want to thank the panelists for showing up. Eric, thank you so much for taking time out. Aurelian PV, the same. We will be here next Thursday live the same time, both live on YouTube and live on Facebook. If you've not subscribed, I see there's a couple of people on YouTube as well. Subscribe now. Subscribe. Thank you so much for the support. This is DJ TopDonn signing out. We will see you next Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you, TopDonn.